In this video, I'll be summarizing and explaining everything that happens in Wuthering Waves Thaw of Eons, Act 7 of Chapter 1, the main story of version 1.1. Full spoilers ahead through Act 7. If you haven't seen the earlier acts yet, this video assumes you know the story so far. With that out of the way, let's get into it. After the battle against the Threnodian, you find Jinhsi and Yang talking about your new friend. Before this act begins, Yang explains to Jinhsi what had happened. The Fractsidus lured Jinzhou's forces into a battle at the Norfall Barrens, where a Threnodian, a calamity far beyond any Tacit discord, was awakened. Rover won, but the moment the Dreamless fell, the Threnodian's power overflowed, and all of that energy surged toward him. A small creature burst out of Rover's tacit mark and began consuming the overflowing power. The Threnodian receded, Jinzhou was saved, and Scar was captured. After, they took Rover to the academy for a checkup with Baishi. The results confirmed something. The suspected entity the academy once detected inside Rover's body and the creature that emerged in that fight are one and the same. She also suspects this echo could be from another country. One of the rare, highly intelligent echoes that can act on their own, with unique abilities beyond imagination. Because it shares similar frequencies with tacit discords, the creature is registered as an echo, but instead of being stored in a terminal like every other echo, this one is stored inside Rover's body. Yang suggests this echo was captured at some point in Rover's forgotten past and has only now manifested. They speculate further. Rover's strange ability to absorb echoes with his body may exist because of this creature. After running a few more tests, the Academy also discovered a new power source within Rover. It's similar to the Crownless, but stronger, left behind by the Threnodian he defeated in the Norfall Barrens. Baishi defines this as Convergent Codependency.
To put it simply, you are connected. While you are two separate individuals, your energies and vitals can affect each other, for better or for worse. You may even feel each other's emotions. The bond between you and this creature is symbiotic. As it strengthens, so do you. However, if one is harmed, the other suffers.
We also learn that Baishi is currently away, checking on a newly appeared sonorosphere in Zhaozhou. After Yang explains this, the special echo tells the group about its condition. It never knows when it will wake up, and when it does, it gets tired and hungry fast, so it has to keep returning to Rover's body to rest. Jinhsi points out that the little one doesn't even know its echo denomination.
Denomination? What's that?
The universally agreed terms for special echoes, like names for humans. They're named based on their characteristics, abilities, and places of origin.
After much trial and error, they land on a name.
Abby. Abra. Abraxas? Abby. I like the sound of that. That's my name.
As the conversation continues, Abby admits that its memory is hazy. It doesn't know when it first awoke, or anything from before. The group is dejected. They had been hoping Abby would hold answers to Rover's past. Yang suggests they look into Abby's abilities instead and compare them against the records kept on other special echoes to find a lead. Abby is eager to prove itself and attempts a demonstration of said abilities. Unfortunately, nothing happens. Under questioning, the truth comes out. During the Threnodian fight, Abby didn't consciously do anything.
So, you didn't really do anything?
It had been asleep inside Rover, woke up because it smelled an incredible energy it had never encountered before, and reached for it on pure instinct. The group concludes that Abby's power triggers automatically under unknown conditions, and Abby has no control over it. it can't even hold its physical form for long. Another dead end. With every lead exhausted, Yang points to the last option. Consult Magistrate Jinhsi and Sentinel Jué. The Sentinel sees the future, and nothing ever deviates from its predictions. It already guided Rover once, steering him to the Norfall Barrens through Jinhsi's messages. 7 days pass with no word from City Hall. Then, at a restaurant, Rover is distracted. He's been having a recurring dream. In the dream, the Sentinel carries Rover to a mountain shaped like a dragon. Tacit discords swarm it, and the Sentinel protects the people by slowing time inside a barrier around the mountain. But Rover isn't affected. He alone can move freely in and out of the barrier. The Sentinel names the place Mount Firmament. A pair of bystanders overhear and confirm the mountain is real. Legends say Mount Firmament is where the first people of Jinzhou lived, and that it looks like a giant statue of Sentinel Jué. Anyone who tries to find it gets lost in the sea mist or never comes back. The old men also notice that Abby can talk and mention a faraway land known for exactly that. Intelligent, autonomous echoes beyond anything in Jinzhou. The same kind of place Baiji speculated Abby might come from. Abby then adds a detail that turns the dream into a lead. For days, it has been smelling a strong energy pulsing from the southeast, from that exact mountain, and it doesn't smell natural. Rover feels it too, an unknown force urging him to go there. One more thing is wrong. Jinhsi promised to keep Rover updated on the search for the Sentinel, but City Hall has gone completely silent. After the restaurant, Rover heads to City Hall for answers, where Sanhua reveals the truth in confidence. Magistrate Jinhsi left for Mount Firmament days ago, alone, and no one has heard from her since. The trip was kept secret because Jinju is still recovering from the Threnodian. If word spread that the Sentinel was in danger, the panic could be as destructive as the invasion itself. The captured Scar claimed the Fractsidus has imprisoned Sentinel Jué, and the timing lines up with when Jinhsi lost contact with the Sentinel. She went alone because Jinju has no resources to spare.
The looming threat of the Threnodian discouraged any additional diversion of human resources. Furthermore, when it comes to the Sentinel, force is not a viable solution.
Sanhua adds one detail that seems small. In her last video message, Jinhsi looked weaker than usual. Mount Firmament can't be reached without a special guide called a Wayfinder. Sanhua sends Rover coordinates to a ferry in Whining X's Mire, where Jinhsi likely departed.
Are you trapped here by the rain?
At the ferry, waiting in the rain, is Changli. She introduces herself as Rover's Wayfinder. She explains Mount Firmament through an old folk tale. A woodcutter watches two people play a board game on a mountain, and when he returns home, 100 years have passed. Mount Firmament is that place, but with a real cost attached. Time inside and outside the mountain flows differently, and the difference is paid in lifespan when you leave. Spend 1 day inside, and it could cost you 10 days of your life on the way out. The mountain's time is controlled by the Sentinel's Temporal Mandate, which means if the Fractsidus really has imprisoned the Sentinel, time inside the mountain is no longer under control. Temporal disruptions will be everywhere, and the mountain becomes a dead end with no way out. That is what Jinhsi walked into alone, and Changli confirms what Sanhua hinted at. Before Jinhsi left, scales were appearing on her body and her resonance ability was weakening. Then Changli reveals something bigger. This meeting was never a coincidence. She invited Rover. Sanhua was instructed to share Changli's location if Rover ever came to City Hall asking about Jinhsi. Changli has been watching him since before the Threnodian battle, when the Fractsidus made Rover their primary recruitment target. If the enemy wants him that badly, his involvement threatens their plans. But her real reason comes from the Grand Library's records. Long ago, after the Sentinel descended, one person entered Mount Firmament and came out untouched by time. Someone said to have stood alongside the Sentinel itself, the same thing Rover does in his dream. Changli looks at him and asks,
Is it you? If not you, who else could it be?
She gives one final warning. Once they enter the mountains, there is no turning back. The rain clears, the ferry departs, and Rover sails toward Mount Firmament. The ferry arrives at the base of Mount Firmament, but before entering the temporal barrier, Rover and Changli must first cross the luminous shore. Along the way, they find a broken bridge, and next to it, a strange machine. Changli identifies it as a creation of the Court of Savantae, a Chronosorter. It mimics the Sentinel's Temporal Mandate on a small scale, able to reverse events and restore objects to their previous state. The Court of Savantae was a group of researchers obsessed with unraveling the mysteries of Mount Firmament's time flow, and obsessed is the right word. They knew that leaving the mountain cost lifespan, and they paid it willingly. For them, nothing mattered more than the truth, but something doesn't add up to Changli. Technology this advanced should have spread across the world. Instead, it was lost, and stranger still, this Chronosorter shows signs of being maintained. Someone has been taking care of it. Using it, they repair the bridge. Before they can dig deeper, the Fractsidus attack. They've set traps all around the luminous shore, which means they anticipated Rover's arrival. Past the ambush, the path into the mountain is sealed by a photon barrier, another Court of Savantae invention, and Changli guides Rover through disabling it. Beyond the cave lies the domain of Mount Firmament. Inside, Changli explains what they're walking into.
Time on Mount Firmament used to simply flow slower than in the outside world. Visitors were safe as long as they remained within the temporal barrier. But what we're seeing now is different. The flow of time has gone haywire. This is what we call temporal disruptions.
Some areas are frozen solid, others speed up or slow down with no warning. The creatures caught in it have had their bodies and minds ravaged by the chaos, and leaving the mountain now could turn a person to dust in a moment. This confirms the worst. The Fractsidus really did capture the Sentinel. Changli had hoped her theories were wrong. Her terminal doesn't work here either, so there's no way to contact Jinhsi. The only option is to head for Hongzhen, the town at the heart of Mount Firmament. If Jinhsi is searching for the Sentinel, she would have passed through it. On the way, Rover recognizes the place. Hongzhen is the town from his dream, and what he describes matches the records of the Grand Library exactly. Over a century ago, a horde of Tazet discords invaded Huanglong, and Hongzhen suffered the worst of it until the Sentinel descended and raised its time barrier to keep the monsters out. Changli puts it plainly, that dream may be more than a dream. It could be a glimpse into Rover's own past. Near the town, Changli senses traces of a resonance ability. It's Jinhsi. She fought here, and the traces lead behind a waterfall through another photon barrier into a hidden shelter. Inside, they're stopped by guards and then welcomed by the shelter's leader, Jinhsi. She and Changli know each other, and this is where we learn who Changli actually is, the counselor of Jinzhou, Jinhsi's own teacher, who stepped down from her position years ago to live in seclusion. Shenyi tells them what happened when Jinhsi came through, and it's worth going through carefully because almost everything that matters in this act is in her account. Jinhsi arrived injured and used her resonance ability to evacuate every civilian into these hidden chambers. She's holding a small pocket of space stable against the temporal disruption, and even that is pushing her limits. Worse, she hasn't been able to sense the Sentinel's presence for some time. Her power comes from the Sentinel, so her weakening resonance can only mean one thing. The Sentinel's condition is deteriorating. The Sentinel was last seen flying toward Mianlong Chamber, its resting place. The Fractsidus swarmed it soon after, but Hongzhen had a defense system built with the Court of Savantae's help, and it reactivated the moment the Sentinel returned, letting the locals track and pick off enemy troops outside the chamber. To get inside Mianlong Chamber, they need the cipher key hidden in Truth Seeker's Pass, the ruins of an old Court of Savantae facility. Jinhsi went to retrieve it alone and left Jinhsi one order: stay and keep the people safe. And then Jinhsi shares the part Jinhsi confided before she left. Before Jinhsi ever came to Mount Firmament, the Fractsidus revealed a prophecy to her, a prophecy from her own Sentinel. A fateful clash between the Sentinel and Jinhsi herself, one that would shape the fate of the city. She didn't want to believe their claims, but she wasn't surprised either, because long ago, the Sentinel told her that a day would come when she surpasses it in power, a day when the humans of Jinzhou take control of their own destiny. Shinyi ends with something that sounds like a riddle.
In this place she was born, and in this place she returns. Our magistrate's fate is bound to Mount Firmament.
Rover and Changli head for Truth Seeker's Pass to catch up with Jinhsi, while Sinyi's people prepare an ambush for the Fractsidus. Jinhsi is from here. She was chosen as a baby for her resonance ability and raised in City Hall to become the Sentinel's appointed resonator. The workers there raised her together, including Shinyi herself. At the entrance, Changli raises the question hanging over all of this Court of Savantae technology. No human civilization can manipulate time, so how did mortals build machines that use the Sentinel's power? Unless the Sentinel willingly taught them. But why would it? Deeper in, they hit a locked gate marked with a flare crest, a lock that requires 3 flare stones to open, and beside it, blood and scales on the ground. Jinhsi's. She is teetering on the edge of overclocking, and they are running out of time. While solving the flare stones, they uncover the Court of Savantae's research logs. This is the biggest lore drop in the entire act, so let's take it piece by piece. First, the Sentinel didn't get injured on Mount Firmament. It arrived injured. When it descended over a century ago, it had already sustained severe damage, and it lost one of its temporal programs. That's why it could stop time and rewind time, but never restore it. It protected Hongzhen with its barrier, but it could not put anything back to normal, and its injury only worsens with time. If the Sentinel dies, the temporal disruptions will spiral out of control and engulf all of Jinzhou. The Court of Savantae concluded there was no cure. Mianlong Chamber could give the Sentinel temporary relief, nothing more. So the Sentinel and a peculiar visitor, someone immune to the temporal disruptions, came up with a last resort. If the Sentinel couldn't be fixed, its power would be replicated onto something else through induced resonance. Those experiments produced the Chronosorters, man-made resonance objects that rewind time by resonating with the Sentinel, but they were nowhere near enough. Limited capacity and dead the moment they leave the Sentinel's range, which led the researchers to a hypothesis. The second resonance awakening, the idea that a collision between 2 resonating frequencies could awaken a power beyond its current limits. They tested it by making countless Chronosorters collide with the Sentinel's frequencies. Every single one was destroyed, except that the 931st Chronosorter, in the instant before it shattered, successfully restored time for 1.29 seconds. proof that a second awakening is real. The logs note that every Chronosorter in those experiments was running in overdrive, and the researchers compared it to something human resonators experience, overclocking. One researcher even suggested overclocking might be the key to triggering a second awakening. Changli rejects that idea outright.
No, it's not. Exhausting oneself will only result in destruction.
And then one final detail in the records. The Chronosorters needed manual control. But in that one successful test, the Sentinel itself was acting under someone's command. Just as the machine was about to break, the peculiar visitor gave the Sentinel an order, and the Sentinel transferred some kind of energy into the Chronosorter. Someone could command the Sentinel. Past the gate, they finally find her, Jinhsi, alive and visibly at her limit. She breaks down, thanking Rover for coming. She lays out what she learned, and it lines up with the research logs. Only the Sentinel's appointed resonator can restore its temporal mandate, and her plan is exactly what you think it is. She will deliberately collide with the Sentinel's resonance power in combat, trigger her own second resonance awakening, and gain the power to restore the flow of time. In other words, the 931st Chronosorter briefly restored time by colliding with the Sentinel and shattering. Jinhsi intends to be the 932nd attempt, except she's not a machine, and shattering means overclocking, losing her mind forever, or disintegrating entirely.
I can see right through your facade, Jinhsi. You're essentially committing suicide at this point.
When it's clear Jinhsi won't be stopped, Changli plays the card she's been holding since the ferry. It's why she brought Rover at all. Rover is the hero who fought at the Sentinel's side during Jinzhou's early days, the mysterious visitor from the tales of Mount Firmament, the peculiar visitor from the Court of Savantae's records. Every piece of evidence points to it being true. The person who once commanded the Sentinel to transfer its energy at the exact moment before destruction is standing right there. They recover the cipher key, and then Changli announces she's done. Her role is Wayfinder, guide Rover into the mountains and deliver him to Jinhsi. From here, confronting the Sentinel belongs to the two of them. Then, artificers ambush them, and Changli stays behind, alone, to hold them off.
How rude. This is not how we greet people here. Allow me to demonstrate the proper etiquette.
Back at Hongzhen, Jinyi's interrogation of a captured artificer has paid off, and we finally learn exactly how the Fractsidus trapped a god. It was a two-part plan built entirely on the Court of Savantae's own research. First, they planted Chronosorters inside Mianlung Chamber, modified ones, a whole array pushed to their limits and synchronized to deliver one massive blow. Then they send a death squad to attack Mount Firmament. Not to win, but to force the Sentinel's hand and lure it back to its resting place. When the Sentinel returned to the chamber, its own overwhelming resonance ability clashed against the Chronosorter array. The Sentinel hurt itself. Even that wasn't enough to bring it down. So after the first strike, they deployed modified flare crests that combined with the Chronosorters into a force field, one that cuts the Sentinel off from replenishing energy and restricts its movement and perception. The Sentinel isn't just captured, it's being slowly starved. Xinyi then asks Jinhsi for the whole truth, and Jinhsi gives it. Everything, the prophecy, the plan, all of it. And standing on the mountain where she was born, Jinhsi finally understands her own life. For years, no one in City Hall could explain why the Sentinel went to such lengths to retrieve a baby from Mount Firmament and raise her within the city's walls. Now she believes she knows. The Sentinel saw in her the potential to one day restore the temporal program it lost and secure the survival of Jinzhou. She was too young to remember this place, but the moment she stood at the base of the mountain, buried memories came flooding back. And her decision, she says, isn't only duty. She's following the heart of the girl she used to be, the one who laughed, feeling the snow of Mount Firmament on her face.
I'm a seed, born on Mount Firmament, carried by the wind to every corner of Jinzhou. But now, I've returned to my place of origin. It's time for me to take root and grow into something greater.
Xinyi gives her the people's answer. Whatever she chooses, Hongzhen will have her back, and she points the way forward. A cave on the northern cliff, a shortcut leading directly beneath the great loom-shaped cliff of Mount Firmament. Rover and Jinhsi descend through the cave beneath the loom-shaped cliff. The water inside is frozen in time, solid enough to walk on, and at the end of it lies Mianlong Chamber, the Sentinel's resting place, and now its prison.
I can feel the Sentinel's presence inside, but it's not responding.
Jinhsi can feel the Sentinel's presence inside, but it doesn't respond. The Fractsidus force field, the modified flare crest, is holding, and breaking it means finding 3 more flare stones scattered through the chamber. While searching, we find files about Jinhsi's past.
Once, tacit discords terrorized the land.
The region of Jinzhou was under siege. A mother and her newborn child were hiding in ruins, trying to avoid the deadly creatures. They weren't safe for long, as the tacit discord found them. The mother sacrificed herself to protect her child. But with her gone, it was difficult for the newborn to survive. In a couple of minutes, its loud cries gradually died out. Fortunately, the newborn's cries echoed through the forest with a unique resonance that reached the ears of the mighty Sentinel. With a burst of energy, our Sentinel dispelled the surrounding evils. But sadly, it was too late. That night, Mount Firmament shook with the roars of a loom, and dark clouds gathered. The Sentinel returned with a dead infant in its embrace. As if by magic, somber clouds parted, and shooting stars lit up the sky. With Mount Firmament's unique flow of time, the Sentinel brought the deceased infant back to life. The resurrected infant became known as the
Sentinel's appointed resonator, and went on to become the magistrate of Jinzhou.
And here she answers the question that's been haunting her since the prophecy. If the Sentinel foresaw a battle between them, why did it save her at all? Because when Jué rewound time to bring her back, something of its power stayed with her. Jinhsi carries the temporal program the Sentinel lost, the one ability it cannot use, restoring time. The prophesied battle was meant for the distant future. The Sentinel was waiting for the right moment to tell her the truth, but her body is failing now, so the timeline no longer matters. She will face it while she still can. And she makes one thing clear: she is not planning on dying. She's fighting for a chance at survival, no matter how slim. They set all 3 flare stones, the force field falls, and the Sentinel is free. Jué greets Jinhsi by name, and then it turns to Rover and says something no one saw coming.
And greetings, Lord Arbiter.
It promises explanations once the crisis is settled. For now, it asks Rover to do 3 things: engage, decide, and observe. Then it gives Jinhsi the truth she came for, and it's worse than anyone thought. Jué is dying. It was designed to be immortal, but it suffered severe harm in ancient times, and it has survived this long only by using the Hanlung chamber to replenish its energy. The Fractsidus attack broke that lifeline. The chamber can no longer sustain it. And then it reframes the entire history of Jinzhou in a few sentences. From the moment it descended on Mount Firmament and used the Temporal Mandate to repel the tacit discords, time here has been in disarray. For thousands of years, Jué has been holding Jinzhou's time together by burning its own life force. Every day of peace the city has ever known was paid for with the Sentinel's life. When it dies, the temporal disruptions will engulf not just Mount Firmament, but the entire region. So Jué has a final plan. It will spend the last of its life freezing all of Jinzhou in time. The city won't die, it will simply stop, preserved in stillness, waiting for a future generation of Huanglong to find a way to rescue it. A city-sized version of what the Sentinel once did for Hongzhen. Jinhsi refuses. A decade, a century, and no guarantee anyone ever comes. Who would spend precious resources rescuing a small city in a forgotten corner of the world? Her answer: Jinzhou's fate deserves better than an uncertain future. She asked Jué directly. You once predicted a destined battle between us. Jué confirms this.
Correct.
She lays out her plan, the second resonance awakening, and the Sentinel's composure shatters for the first time in the entire act.
Ridiculous! If you clash with my resonance power, even the smallest mistake will result in overclocking and leave you nothing but an empty husk.
Jué tells her exactly what failure means, and worse than death, trapped in the fissures of time itself, shredded and mended day after day, denied any rest for eternity. Jinhsi's answer cuts straight through it.
But I can restore the errors in the flow of time. Isn't that why you saved me all those years ago? I'm just doing what you've been doing all along. Going against fate to keep Jinzhou safe.
Jué offers her one last chance to back down. She doesn't take it. And then the Sentinel does something remarkable. It turns to Rover, and it starts planning for her survival. Rover is given the pivotal role of the entire battle. As At the moment, Jinhsi's resonance ability is depleted. When she is teetering on the brink of overclocking and death, Rover must command Jué to transfer its temporal mandate to her. Miss it by the slightest margin, and Jinhsi is gone. The Court of Savantae's records described a peculiar visitor whose command let the Sentinel transfer energy at the exact moment before destruction.
I should have died a long time ago. But I was lucky enough to be saved by you, allowing me the chance to see the glittering lights of Jinzhou for myself. You rewinded time to save me. I am responsible. Jinzhou is my home. If it's ever in danger, I will do everything in my power to protect what I hold dear, even at the cost of my own life.
Such a valiant speech. Do you know the weight of this decision?
I understand your concerns. I will reach my second awakening with our destined confrontation and restore the time flow. Are you willing to bet on me?
Restore the time flow. From where does this confidence arise? You are my resident, but your strength is only a fraction of mine. There is little chance for you to retreat unscathed.
But I can at least win some hope for our people. Even if it costs me my soul, my everything. I cannot die without trying. I may only bear your power for a fleeting moment. It's all I need to secure a better future for Jinzhou, defying all of your predictions, and I can keep you safe. If there is anyone who can face you in a fight, that person has to be your resonator. I will be your final winning move in this game.
Are you truly ready to challenge a being worshipped by your kind? Will you regret it when you meet your bitter demise?
I will not regret it, no matter what.
Very well, Magistrate of Jinzhou. Come to the summit. Demonstrate your prowess. Show me how you shall be my triumphant ace. Lord Arbiter, one is curious about your choice this time. Wherever the tides may take us, you will bear witness to our mind.
Government must be guided by virtue. Ji, do you keep this in mind?
Yes, virtue must come first. Politics, commerce, it all must serve the people.
From now on, you shall be known as Jinhsi, bearing Jinzhou's name as your own. What do you think of this one?
Like here, darkness clings, but lights flicker in the gloom.
A guiding light, I'm sure.
That's why they stand out so brightly against the darkness.
At the summit sits the Sonorosphere, the battleground, and only Rover can open it. Rover weighs the choice out loud.
If I open it, Jinhsi is bound to face you in the ultimate battle. The ideal outcome would be for her to absorb your power at the critical moment and restore the time flow without any loss of life. But there's a chance that she could push herself too far and end up dying from overclocking. Though, if I do nothing, you'll use your remaining power to freeze all of Jinzhou in time.
Jinhsi has already decided. She made up her mind before she ever set foot on the mountain. She says her goodbyes to the sunshine and snow of Jinzhou just in case, and gives Rover the word. Let's begin. The destined battle. Jinhsi and Rover against Sentinel Jué at the peak of Mount Firmament. Mid-fight, Jué gives her one more out. You are still a long way from inheriting my power. Back down while you still can. And Jinhsi answers with the Sentinel's own lesson. You once said it's not easy to become a candle of light.
But I still want to try. I want to see if I can ignite a spark of hope for Jinzhou.
Then the moment arrives, Jinhsi at her limit, on the brink of overclocking.
Lord Arbiter. May this one transfer the Temporal Mandate to Jinhsi. This one has heard your decision. One should honor one's promise and restore Jinzhou's future to you and its people.
Rover gives the command. The transfer is carried out, and it works. Jinhsi survives. The Sentinel's power passes to her, the temporal programs are made complete for the first time in a century, and the flow of time on Mount Firmament is restored. The prophecy came true exactly as predicted. The Sentinel's predictions never miss. It just turns out a prophecy of battle was never a prophecy of tragedy. With Jinhsi recovering, Jué keeps its promise to explain. I am Jué the Sentinel, the guide of Jinzhou's civilization. You, Rover, are my arbiter and my former master. In bygone days, Rover established Jinzhou City with Jué at his side and tasked the Sentinel with safeguarding its prosperity. Everything Jué knows, all of it, came from Rover, the Sonorosphere at the summit. Rover gave Jué its key long ago, and Rover's stated purpose back then, in Jué's words.
You said you planned to participate in history, to make choices, and witness the development of civilizations.
Jué stayed silent about the prophecy because Jinhsi needed both strength and confidence, and the truth too early would have given her neither. The Fractsidus attack simply forced the destined battle ahead of schedule. And while time now flows normally, the people of Hongzhen still can't leave the mountain without paying in lifespan. Jinhsi's new power protects them, but only while they remain. It's not a perfect ending, but far better than the worst. Then Jué notices something unusual in Rover's tacit mark. Abby pops out and immediately recognizes the smell, the same unnatural scent it detected from Jinzhou. Similar to itself, but different. Jué, who knows everything about Jinzhou, has never seen this entity before. Whatever Abby is, it isn't from here. It assumes Rover granted it access intentionally in a past Rover can't remember. And so Jué gives Rover a destination. Have you heard of the Black Shores? The Black Shores is the starting point of your journey in this world. The wuthering waves ebb and flow. They shall send you back to where you belong. The act closes with a storyteller in Jinzhou recounting a new legend.
Mount Firmament glowed with the sun's light, high above the clouds and snow. Then, suddenly, they vanished, revealing a distant blue sky. In the midst of it all stood a white-haired maiden, like a goddess descended from the heavens. With a mere wave of her hand, she brought forth a new season, transforming the streets below. This maiden was none other than the dead infant, now reborn as the magistrate of Jinzhou. When thunder roars in spring's embrace, the sun shall shine upon this place. For only through death and strife can one truly embrace new life.
And then, after everything, one final scene. In a few sentences, she reframes this entire act. The trap, the siege, the destined battle, all of it was never really about capturing the Sentinel. It was an experiment, and the experiment worked.
We have the answers we wanted already. With the second resonance awakening, we will tap into powers that rival the Sentinels. Complete control of the artificial resonator awakening process is within reach.
Everything Jinhsi risked her life to achieve, the Fractsidus was watching and taking notes, and she mentions one more thing on the way out. About that Rover, this trip was worth it. Then the last line of the act, get moving, can't let a certain someone wait too long behind bars. Scar, the prisoner whose confession started this entire journey. The story of Jinzhou is over. The war is just beginning. Next, the story leaves Jinzhou behind and heads for the Black Shores, where Rover's journey began. Subscribe if you want the full story of Wuthering Waves Deeply Explained, act by act. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.